I'm Jess. Welcome to the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
The Rochester Press Box is brought to you by McGregor's Grill and Tap Room, now with 6 locations, including the newest at Easton Alexander, featuring in-house catering for parties. McGregor's, a beer lover's paradise.
Welcome to McGregor's Downtown for the Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko with you, and also McGregor's has introduced their McGregor's English Pale Ale, which is now available across their 5 locations, and that's exciting news. Joining us is Harry Gibbs from WHAM and the play-by-play man for the Newark Pilots, and you said playoff-bound Newark
That's
Pilots.
That's right, yeah.
League is that? It's college league? What's the name of the league?
PGCBL, Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League. So
All right.
It's a long title.
Mike Catalana, as always, from 13 Wham News.
Yep.
And Bob Sims rejoins us, longtime golf coach at St. John Fisher College. Bobby, thank you very much. Obviously, this is PGA Week is coming up, PGA Championship. Bob, go to you first. What are you looking forward to most about having the guys come to town again?
Oh, I'm looking forward to how the course will hold up. Over the past few years, Oak Hill has held up very well. The average score is about usually -1 shot to the winner. They've done a lot of things to that golf course. The rough is so high. I was out there the other day, and you better keep the ball in the fairway. Not only do you have to keep the ball in the fairway, you better hit the greens in regulation. Because once you do that, that's where the winner's going to come from. The greens are not tough. There's only 2 greens that have 2 tiers. So you hit the ball in the fairway, you hit the ball in the green, and if you putt the best, you have a chance to win.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a great leaderboard. I think we got cheated in 2003. Sean McKeel, nice enough guy. Chad Campbell, nice enough guy. I don't want Sean McKeel and Chad Campbell. I remember when that happened and Sean won, a lot of people said, well, look at 1968. Lee Trevino was a no-name. He won, and then he became a Hall of Famer. Well, Sean McKeel was nobody before, and he's nobody
now
after.
Now we have hindsight.
So we do, and we look at it. But even during that week, I was out there when Mickelson came into practice, and then with Tiger. I want to see those guys up there. I want to see Rory play well. I want to see Rochester get rewarded for being great golf fans and a phenomenal golf course and get a great leaderboard and showcase what this town is like during that type of tournament. We've had Nicholas and Trevino and those guys win before. I want to see a great leaderboard and a great winner.
Absolutely.
You know, with Nicholas and Trevino, they both drove the ball straight.
Yes.
Tiger Woods, not so much.
But you're your big golf guy,
Yeah, continue to live up to its legacy, really, for me. Only 10 human beings on the earth have shot under par for a tournament at Oak Hill. That's an incredible statistic.
That's a great stat.
I can't even think of anything better. And I mean, we're already seeing some of the guys come out. Graham McDowell put up a picture on Twitter, and he stretched out the grass like a thing of hair. It's this long. I mean, obviously it sits lower and it's just thick as a fist, but I can't wait to see the struggle, honestly. I guess I'm a little bit morbid in that way.
What is the division that they set up these courses for the majors? It's like there is a point to which it's like become unfair, right?
Yeah, I mean, the players are going to complain no matter what. I mean, Mickelson was crying in the first round of the British Open. He wasn't crying in the last round,
no, he
was
wasn't.
Exactly.
Because he played
got what he
so
wanted.
much better and he ended up winning. What's interesting, and I know Bob knows this, the PGA Championship used to be the much more tame one, and guys would put up good scores. David Tom shooting 63 and all. The PGA got tired. It got looking like last tournament, low scores, and it got tougher and tougher. You heard Mickelson the other day say, Oak Hill's like a U.S. Open course. It's tough. It demands shot making. It's not just bomb it out there and see what happens. I think it's an awesome test. I'm glad Marion held up as well as it did. I'm glad they were whining and complaining. They'll be complaining the week here, but it'll be a great test.
You mentioned Mickelson. That's the best thing this tournament has going for it is the fact that Phil did so well overseas, right?
Oh, of course, and we do have a chance of having a great leaderboard. Listen, there are a lot of good players around this time. Look for Brandt Snedeker.
Yeah.
Yeah, keeps them in the fairway, can putt.
Alrighty. Well, we have more golf talk, and we'll do that when we come back.
Hi, I'm Kaylee, and you're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
Back with the Rochester Press Box here from McGregor's Downtown. Bill with Harry, Mike, and Bob. Look, we did a whole segment on golf. We didn't mention the name Tiger Woods. Before we get into this next thing, does Tiger come here and do anything?
I mean, I don't think he does. I think there's too much of a precedence to keep it in the fairway, but yet still need to use your driver. Now, if he could just hit stingers the whole round, and I suppose he could. I mean, Oak Hill isn't crazy long, but, I mean, if you go out there today and you sit on 18 tee box, you think, how do they play this hole? I mean, it's just crazy long from the back tees. I don't know. I just don't think he keeps it in the fairway, and I think it's pivotal. I think the rough is literally a hazard this week, or the week of the PGA.
He's still a betting favorite, which I think kind of goes into the next thing where, when we look at the state of golf in general, it's been built around Tiger Woods for so long now. Where is it
Well,
now?
he's still the best golfer. He is. The problem is the major thing, which was how he has been defined, is now how he's defined also, because he hasn't won it in 5 years. To have the best player on the tour not be able to win a single major over 5 years is alarming to watch him play. And I think Tiger always blocked out everything. Nothing got in his head. Now I think everything gets in his head. I think it has hurt him. And he has been, it's the opposite of Phil right now. Phil was that guy before, for different reasons, but Phil was that guy before. I think Mickelson has a better chance to contend at the PGA than Tiger does.
You look at 17 and 18. They're both about 500-yard par
Unbelievable.
fours.
Unbelievable.
You have to hit driver, okay? I can't see Tiger coming down the stretch, one shot ahead or one shot behind, being able to do something positive for himself. He doesn't hit the ball that straight.
He's going to spray it. Those final two, that's a great point. I mean, those holes are monsters now. I mean, I don't know how they've done it, but they've been able to put the proper amount of length on that course where it stays true now.
Well, 17 for the members plays as a 5. They make it a 4. That's what they do with it. And 18 has always been just a classic hole. And depending on now, when you hit from all the way back, that chute that you hit from is pretty narrow with the trees there, and you have to be really careful. Unless you're going to hit a Sean McKeel shot into the 18th, that's a very, very difficult finishing hole.
Bob, you work with college kids all the time. Where is the sport? I mean, it was a couple years ago, the economy was taking a toll on country clubs. They were scrambling for membership. Where is the sport of golf right now?
Well, next year I will have 16 members on my men's golf team, which is the biggest number I've ever kept. So I think as far as boys are concerned, there's tons of boys playing golf. Girls is different. We need to get more girls playing golf.
I think that's interesting from the perspective certainly of a college coach. In general for golf, I think golf's in a lot of trouble. I think there was too many courses built, cost too much money. I think your country clubs are surviving when they're the big time. The Oak Hills, the Country Club of Rochester's, mid-range clubs, like even a Locust Hill, Penfield, those type of places in Rochester. It's very difficult to keep people playing. Too many courses, too expensive. People are not committing that money to it. Membership is down in a lot of places. Unless you're one of those blue blood courses, I think you're in a lot of trouble.
I mean, although the population's aging, I mean, there's this whole thing about the baby boomers are going to turn retirement age, and golf is supposed to be the great sport for that. I mean, is there a growth spurt in its future, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I just focus on professionally. I mean, as a sports medium, it's great. It's at an all-time high. I mean, Phil honestly pushes the needle like Tiger does. I mean, he's gotten to this point because of his, I guess, Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, it's 1 week he's great, 1 week he's terrible, 1 week he's great until, Sunday back 9. I mean, I think we have people professionally that push the needle and keep it popular in that right, but I don't know, maybe it is fading away.
One quick thing I was just going to say, 2003, the biggest names were Tiger and Phil. They still are the biggest names. I love all these young guys, but one of them needs to step up and become the guy. We thought it was Rory. He's had some issues. He could still be a great player. They need another 1 or 2 of these young guys to really step up.
All righty. When we return, like it or not.
Hi, I'm Alexa. You're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
We are back. Thanks for joining us here at the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's downtown. Like it or not. How about Brian Cashman coming out of the gate and saying he was not in favor of signing or trading for Soriano?
Well, it's a new George Steinbrenner in town. It's our new ace, George Steinbrenner. I mean, whether it's, telling A-Rod to bleep off about a month ago and now this situation, I mean, I didn't know he had this gravitas in him. I guess we should have known some of the out of the front office news that he has made headlines about in previous years. Maybe I should have shown us his personality is a little bit more than we had expected.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that the Yankees have this much, breakdown within the organization. You think it would work, like a military in there.
But you know how Cashman feels like, you know what, you want to get rid of me, he could have his pick of jobs still. I think he still has
Because
that.
he wasn't always like that.
But I also think he doesn't like the name Soriano. Isn't this the second time he said, I disagreed with picking up a Soriano, Rafael Soriano? He did that said, that wasn't
that's
my
right.
deal. That
That's
was
right.
a Steinbrenner thing. What did his old man used to say, the Steinbrenners, Mr. Stein? That my baseball people did that.
Yep.
Now it's the opposite. The baseball guys saying the Steinbrenners did that. I love it.
Bobby, like it or not, social media and college kids. I mean, Johnny Manziel's the guy we put up there. You got to love this, right?
Remember,
tell me stories.
remember when you were kids, when you were in college, did you want people to know what you were doing?
Nope.
No way. But today, everybody knows what everyone is doing. And the social media is just crazy. Kids are getting kicked off of football teams, basketball teams, for what they say in social media. I think it's time for kids to keep their mouths shut so that it's out there forever.
It's thinning the herd, though. Isn't it sort of making your job easier that way?
Oh, God, it's amazing what even my kids say on social media.
But I laugh sometimes. I think, why do they believe that what they're saying is of such importance that we need to know about? Like this news reporter who had her own blog and talking about why she hates her job, and then she's stunned that she got fired. You've told everybody all these things about your job. I would have fired her too. Maybe sometimes people need to just shut up. I'll shut up now.
As a coach, do you tell them don't do it? I mean, do you lay down the law?
Well, I'm going to have a policy this year, a social media policy. And it's not that I want to curtail on them being open and honest or them having fun. I want them to have fun. But I want them to have fun at the expense of anybody else in the team or the school.
16 players now. You got to manage it like a basketball team almost.
Well, it's amazing that I have the same issues with the men as I do with the women. Women are the same.
Well, you're a big tweeter. You ever sent anything out there that you'd like to have back?
Yeah, some of my predictions, I think I would like to send those back. But no, I've been pretty good. I think I don't know. I don't get into a little bit of why we care so much. I understand that coaches have to care, and the NFL front offices need to care about what these people are behind the I guess outside the football field. But I don't know. I don't really care what he's doing. I mean, but I do agree he is acting like an idiot for sure, Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
Michael, like it or not, the Mario Williams act.
Oh, I'm so tired of him doing this. Look, Bruce Smith had his whole act. We didn't have social media then, but Bruce would say dumb things. He would get out of practice. He would do whatever. But the guy was a Hall of Fame player, performed on the field, unblockable for a series of years. Mario, play like that, and nobody's going to care about all these other things. There just always seems to be something going on around him, injury-wise, or something where he's not being 100% honest, maybe with the staff or whatever. I just want him to play. I want him to perform up to the level of the contract. I'm tired of hearing about all the other stuff. If he was playing better, it would be a no big deal at all. This stuff would be minor. He needs to play better. So right now, I don't like it. Plays better, I think it'll be no issue.
It feels like we're approaching the time, though, where this looks like a bad signing.
I don't think he has that ferociousness that we see in the great NFL. He's always going to get those 10 sacks, but I just think they're going to come in, I know it's ridiculous to say, but in an unimpressive way. I just don't see him being that guy that gets, 5 rushing pressures, 3 sacks in a game, like completely changing the game like you said Bruce Smith used to do. He just seems more Aaron Schobel than he does Bruce Smith.
He needs to be the guy that the other team goes, where's 94 all the time,
Exactly.
and I don't think he was that guy last year.
Is this the biggest year of his career, do you think?
I guess.
I mean, he's got to do something.
I guess he's got $200 million. I don't know how much. We'll see how much he cares about that, because he could have a huge impact on this defense if he is that guy. We'll see how much he cares. I haven't seen that. Again, he's talented enough. He's going to make plays
He's
just by
huge.
his talent.
I mean, he is
and maybe in this defense he'll be a little more effective, because they were terrible last year, but I haven't seen it so far. Right now, it's not a terrible signing, because he was still better than anybody they had. It's not a great one right now.
All righty, we'll be back with Unfinished Business.
Hi, I'm Haley, and you're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
Back with the Rochester Press Box here from McGregor's Unfinished Business. Harry, what do you got?
Training camp is here, and you talk about the Buffalo Bills and the NFL. There's always this idea, 6 new playoff teams. Well, maybe it's baseball that we should always talk about, the new age of playoff teams from year to year. You have the Pittsburgh Pirates atop the NL, all of the NL in a record as far as the Rays and the Athletics. They're both leading the way in the American League. This is an incredible surge by unknown franchises with small payrolls compared to the Yankees and the Red Sox. Not that those teams don't compete, it's the idea that every team has a chance, and I think these are, in fact, not just by record, but the best playoff teams to come. I'm really impressed with what these organizations that have been able to do after a long, long absence from success.
We keep the Dodgers out of it now because the Dodgers now are still, there is that one team out there that threw all the money at it, and they're reaping some benefits right now.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Coach?
Social media with athletes, not only athletes, but just college kids in general. My mother used to say to me, be careful what you want. Be careful what you wish for, you may get it. Well, they want to be able to talk about anything they want, okay? But they're not sports athletes. They're not professional athletes that can say anything they want and there are no ramifications. When they're done with college, they're going to look for a job. All this stuff that they say on social media is out there forever. I'm beginning to think that parents need to give their kids talks about social media like they do about sex. It's getting to be that important. Because no matter what you say, it's out there. When you go to apply for a job, they check out what your social media sites. You need to be careful what you say because it's out there forever.
This was one of those guys. Was it in talk radio? One of these radio commentators, I guess, and it might even have been a local, was talking about, they tell us not to do all this stuff on Facebook and social media, and as soon as I get hired for not having done it, they tell, okay, now we want you to do it, and it's and the pictures get you in worse trouble than the words.
Right, but what they tell you to do for your job should be related to your job, and give an opinion, that's fine. I just think that there's a point where you say something stupid. I always say, don't say anything on social media that you wouldn't say on the air. That's the way I look at it, and though there's some people who say dumb things on the air too. I might now, who knows?
Current company. What do you got, Mike?
I'm intrigued by this guy, Dave Gettleman, who's the general manager of the Carolina Panthers. He was asked about Cam Newton as being his franchise quarterback, and the writer who did the story said when he asked, is he the franchise quarterback to build on, he said he paused, Gettleman did, for almost 7 full seconds before he answered. And then he talked about Newton being a great player, but it's time to start winning. Now, got to be fair a little bit to Cam Newton. He hasn't had the greatest team around him. But it goes to the bigger picture of a guy becoming a superstar by just putting up numbers. We've seen that in the NBA before, where these guys become these great stars and they've done virtually nothing other than put up great numbers. I think Cam Newton has a chance to be that guy, but some of these younger guys have already passed him by. I didn't see a lot of great talent around Andrew Luck. I didn't really see that much great talent around RG3. Russell Wilson took an average team that has talent, but made him into a playoff team. I think there's a lot there for Cam Newton to do. I think he's immensely talented. But it's nice to see somebody that isn't just babying the guy who is his franchise quarterback for right now by saying, let's start winning football games, then we'll talk about you being the franchise guy.
Yeah, times are changing, and especially in football. I mean, it's more and more about the teams.
Yeah, NFL sets itself apart. You have to be successful in the wins and loss column, or you're not a star.
It's amazing what Russell Wilson has done.
Exactly.
He took control of that team. It was his team.
Yep.
Something we hope we see from E.J. Manuel,
Yes.
I think, in the near future. I'm going to go back to baseball, Harry. They ended their careers in 2007. And they would be Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, and Roger Clemens, which made them eligible for the Hall of Fame for the first time this year. This should have been one of the all-time great classes. I mean, Sosa's the only guy who has hit 60 more home runs in 3 different seasons. Bonds, all-time home run king, 7 MVPs, and Roger Clemens, one of the all-time strikeout pitchers, 7 Cy Young Awards. They should have been one of the great classes of all time. None of them made it. Of course, we all know that's because of the whole PED scandal. Instead, we got 3 guys, the youngest of which was Jacob Rupert, former owner of the New York Yankees, who this week, ironically, would have turned 146 years old. And they've all been gone 70 years. Cooperstown took a real hit for this. The crowds were small, the interest was lagging, and you can tell, I know ESPN is one of your favorite things. It did not appear, Cooperstown's induction ceremonies did not appear on the front page of ESPN.com, which is virtually unheard of. A lot of people chose to stay home for this year's Hall of Fame ceremonies. So did Sosa, Bonds, and Clemens, as it should be. Guys, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Press Box, Harry, Bobby, we'll do it again next time the PGA rolls into town. Mike, as always, great job. Thanks for joining us. You can catch the videotaping of the Rochester Press Box here from McGregor's every Wednesday afternoon at 12:30. And, of course, you know when we air because you're watching. We'll see you next week.